What you doing?
Designing my new 2021 Nissan Kicks online in the Kicks Color Studio. I give each a special name. This one's electric blue, orange, red, white. I call it the gumball machine. You think it's me?
I feel like you're more of a red velvet guy.
Limitless possibilities. With over 100 million available color combinations and Bose Personal Plus system in the boldly new 2021 Nissan Kicks. Bose is a registered trademark of the Bose Corporation. Color combinations include interior and exterior colors. Customization is an available feature subject to availability at participating Nissan dealers. See dealer for details.
Spring into Lowe's and plant the seeds of possibility. With premium mulch for just $3.68 a bag and Stay Green 1 cubic foot garden soil just $4.28 a bag. You'll grow possibilities right from the ground, like skipping the grocery store because your yard grew the whole salad. And it grew you tulips, too. Oh, yard, you shouldn't have. Visit your local Lowe's or shop online at Lowe's.com. Lowe's, home to any budget, home to any possibility. While supplies last, mulch offer in store only. Selection and offer availability varies by location. Offers valid through 3/10, U.S. only. Excludes Hawaii.
Bring it to the flow. Silent grace, I'm never gonna be done. Lean on in. Now welcome to the kingdom.
Bonjour, you're watching Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. I'm TK Trinidad, aka the Canadian Assassin, and I am not alone. Thankfully, she is the United Wrestling Network on-air correspondent. Please welcome Emily May.
Hey, everyone.
Hey, and she is a pro wrestler and the champion cat lady. Please welcome Sarah the Rebel.
What it do?
And today's going to be an amazing show. We have rapid hot tags, we have star of the week, but it's about our guest. As you know, she is pro wrestling's Queen of Mean. You've seen her on WWE and AEW. She has her own podcast called Excuse Me. Please welcome Vickie Guerrero.
Excuse me!
Hey, how are you doing?
I had to get that in there.
You have to.
I don't think the hallway appreciate that, but I don't care.
Thank you so much for coming on the show. We really, really appreciate it. And I did like a deep dive on your podcast yesterday, and you have some amazing guests. So one of the questions we have is if you could have anybody dead or alive on your podcast, who would it be?
Oh, I think the easiest one would be my husband, Eddie. You know, he passed away in 2005. I would have loved to have him on there. But, you know, aside from Eddie, I would love to have Sherry Martel. I think she would have been amazing as a guest. And then also, you know, I would love to have John Cena and Batista. Those are guys I worked with, and I would love to have them on one day. So never say never.
I like it. I mean, why not? You know them, so can you put in a call, or is it a little bit, you know, they're kind of busy?
Girl, I am messaging, I am DMing, I am doing everything. So we'll see what happens.
We gotta get them on.
Yeah. From experience, it comes. You just have to be persistent. Trust me. So we completely understand. So you've been in the game for a long period of time now. As far as wrestling, and in particular women's wrestling, what changes have you seen, and then what changes do you hope to see?
The biggest change I've seen in professional wrestling is the women's evolution of them to be able to have expanded on the division, not only with their talents, but also with the diversity of body image and the talent and the different personalities. They've welcomed pretty much a whole spectrum of different women that represent different stories. And that's something I'm pretty proud of. So I think that's the biggest change I've seen. And also just during COVID, you know, everyone has been very clever and creative in how they've been able to keep the fans involved with the wrestling industry. So that was pretty impressive, you know, to how they became virtual, you know, shows and meet and greets and interviews. So that's probably been the biggest changes, that we got very clever in keeping our fans engaged.
So I know Shaul from working with her at WOW. And we have interviewed her a few times. And so I was just wondering, since you have the voice, did you give her any tips when she decided to go into ring announcing, or did you help her at all with any of that?
You know, what's really frightening and clever about that conversation that Shaul had with me one day, you know, she already saw the sacrifice that it takes to be in the professional wrestling industry, because we were never home. You know, Eddie was never home when she was growing up. And then, of course, I got on the road as well. But I wanted her to be able to find the importance and the priority of being herself and not trying to be Eddie or not trying to be me, but to be Shaul Guerrero. And it's been a struggle, I think as different generational wrestlers, they try and find their own identity of not trying to be, mom or dad or uncle or, grandfather. They're trying to find their own style. And that's something today that she's still trying to find within herself, is to be Shaul. And, but as far as that, she's got the talent. When she gets in the ring, whether she's announcing or wrestling, she has a lot of Eddie mannerisms. And I think she represents the family quite well. She's hilarious, and she's a cheater and a liar and a stealer. Everything that it takes to be a Guerrero. So I'm really proud of her. And she, like all of us in the wrestling industry, we find our strengths and weaknesses. But I think she's done very well, and she has a unique voice for announcing, as you've seen in WOW. So I'm pretty proud of her, and I can't wait to see what where she ends up in her future with the wrestling industry. But she very much is looking forward to announcing or in some sort of capacity with that.
First off, let's just say, how is she doing? Because she has posted on social media recently. But as a mother, seeing her go through this publicly, how is she doing?
What Shaul's going through, and of course, she announced that, publicly on her Instagram that she wasn't going to be involved. The first thing is that, there is a mental health awareness where, she found a lot of obstacles with promoters and different people expecting her to be Eddie in the ring. And it's very hard, especially as a woman, to try and have your voice of how you want to be portrayed at a show or what, how you want to relate to the fans. And with her, finding that struggle and that frustration, it did add to her mental, with her anxiety and stuff, that she wasn't taken seriously of how she wanted to be portrayed with her as her own character. So with that, she stepped away, and she's just kind of regrouping again. And, but, as far as the wrestling, there is a lot of stress on her. She comes from Eddie Guerrero and, and as far as myself as well. And I'm very proud of her, because it takes a lot for a person to speak up and show their courage and to show that, hey, I'm having trouble with this. This is where I need to step back and kind of work on myself. And whatever job she does, I love her just as much, and I'm proud of her. But, as far as, her trying to take care of herself, she also wants to be an instrument for other people to say, hey, everyone has their mental struggles, and it's okay to speak up and to say what you need to do. So, yeah, that's where we stand right now. But, as far as if she wanted to, whatever she wants to pursue in her career, that's something that I'll stand by her side and hold her hand.
Yeah, it's so incredibly brave of her to come forward, because I feel like mental health, like, we need to talk about it more in the public arena. What's, as a trailblazer in the wrestling industry, what's some advice you could give to other women that are trying to find their own voice in the industry?
That's a really good question. And something that I really focus on with, even speaking to my colleagues at AEW, is you have to believe in yourself first before anyone else can believe in you. I think it takes, for me, my faith is something that's very important to keep me with my feet on the ground, and to remember why I love this business, and not to live by the expectations of what the fans think I should do, or what others think I should do. If I'm happy with my character and where I want to be for that day, and the storylines, or just, working in the wrestling industry, it has to be for me first, and then everything else will fall into place. So it takes a very thick skin, and, I didn't think I could make it through WWE with all the crazy storylines that I went through, and the food fights and the hog pin match. And you just keep going on and on, but I love the wrestling industry. It's my second family, and to be able to work in it as long as I have, it's something that I don't take for granted. And I wake up every morning blessed that I have this job that's incredible, and it's not your regular 9-to-5 job. I love the people I work with now, and it's just been a wild and crazy and happy ride. So I just say that you just have to do it for yourself first, because if you don't have your own happiness and your own self-centered, then it's not going to work and be portrayed to the fans that you're enjoying yourself.
Now, going back to WWE just quickly, your experience there, if you could change anything during your time there, is there anything that you would change, or you're like, I'm going to keep it all the same?
I don't think I would have, because from my road and my journey that I was there, I had to learn everything really quick. And I was blessed to have great superstars like Edge and Teddy Long, my nephew Chavo, that mentored me and helped me along the way. And I had Dusty Rhodes that told me how terrible I was in my first promo when I went, out for my first night. And I think that by people being real and truthful with me, it helped me improve. And I had a long way to prove myself, not only to the company, but to fans and to the wrestling industry in itself. And I never wanted to insult anyone by being there because I was Eddie's wife and he passed away and I got a job. I really had to learn my way around and to prove myself. And so I don't think I would have changed. I mean, even the storyline, they say, oh, how terrible they treated you. But I said yes. And I think that if I hadn't gone that route, my character wouldn't have been as famous as it is today because, marrying Edge and then having these affairs and the food fights, and just the crazy stuff that I got to do and working with great celebrities. I'm very grateful and I don't regret anything I've done.
So, speaking of your character, you mentioned earlier that you guys are bad guys. You like to be the bad guy, but you've also said you have a heart of gold. So, how did you create the character of Vickie Guerrero? Like, were there any outside influences?
I think the only thing that I would say is my first influence is that every woman has a bitch inside. So I think that when you gravitate to that and you kind of, feel yourself, every woman can get to that point really quickly. But, I had to separate, reality from my fictional character. And, when I stepped into the arena, you kind of evolved and I really focused on my character. And then when you go home, I was a mom and I, took care of the house and I house cleaned and grocery shopped. And it's so funny because people will meet me outside or even at church and they're like, oh my gosh, you're so mean. I'm like, how can you love being at church? And I'm just like, that's a character. That's just who I play. But just like for any actress or actor, you think that they're horrible, but they have a personal side. So I really think that's important when I meet people outside that I smile and I can have a conversation and, I like flowers and beaches. And so there's many sides to me, but you just have to separate the two.
Yeah, I just have to make one comment. I can't remember what I was watching, but you have big balls. And the reason I say this is you go in the ring as a manager and I've seen you kick wrestlers. And I'm just and these wrestlers are not tiny wrestlers. These wrestlers could legitimately probably take on the four of us in this square right now. So
well, no, Sarah's good. Sarah's good.
Sarah will protect us. But what do you channel, or what brought you to that decision that you're going to get you're going to get in the action?
My character is, I take this from Eddie, is the lie, cheat, and steal. And with me being the manipulated cheater, manager, disgusting person, I know that if I always have someone to the side of me that can take me out of a fight. So, for instance, with me and Nyla, if she's beating down someone, I'll go give a quick kick because I know that I can just get behind Nyla Rose and I'm okay. So I think that that's my secret is that, I'm all mouth and I'm all verbal and I'll do a kick or a slap or a cheat spot, but I know I can run real fast to the back because I have someone in the ring that'll take over from there. So that's the cheating and horrible manager that I am, and I think that's worked out very well for me.
Yeah, it's really funny. So I originally started off as a manager when I started came out in wrestling, and you were one of the people that I watched and was told to watch. And oftentimes I had people yell your catchphrase at me, "Excuse me," even though I didn't say it or anything, just because I think they could see you really are an amazing blueprint for women managers. How do you pull this evil in? Because a lot of times women managers just got to be cute and, distract with okay, here's, the classic, here's my boobs, get distracted spot. But you actually got to do a lot of fun stuff. So you were very, very much an inspiration to me.
Thank you. I study a lot, and today I still study women that are, being in a manager role. I think the important thing is being a manager is that you don't stop listening to others' advice and you kind of pick and choose what you want to use to keep growing your character. When I started WWE, I was one of the heaviest women in the locker room. And so I had to be very clever to know that I'm not going to be this 115-pound woman, because that's not who I am. And I wanted to be really real with myself, even though there was a lot of fat jokes and, big, butt jokes and whatnot. But that's who I was. And I wasn't going to try and be something that I wasn't. When I go home, I'm not trying to, hurt myself by trying to lose all this weight. But, to be the clever, cheating and, manipulative, the cougar trying to, flirt with a guy, as long as he loves me, I'll give him a championship match. Those are the things that I really gravitated to. And, so as far as like managers, I always studied Miss Elizabeth, who I love so much, and Sherry Martel. And, there was Woman who was Nancy Benoit, that they were not only my close friends, but I never knew I was going to have their job later on. We were friends first. So to be able to go back and keep studying these women, even today, I mean, it's so great to have, YouTube and the internet, because you can just go do this research. But yeah, I really try and, just keep learning and also pass my knowledge to other women that are coming up that are younger than me, and give them their knowledge and share what I know, because it's my responsibility to do that for the younger generation, so we can keep building our division up.
So let's talk about your job with AEW, excuse me. So you are Nyla Rose's manager. Now, you've been in the game for a long period of time. Do you have a preference as far as managing women or men?
It's very different. With men, I can use my cougar-ness, to keep the fans entertained with me working with the guys. With the women, with Nyla Rose, it's been such a...
Clorox knows you want your clothes smelling fresh and clean, but so what happens? That's why we created Clorox fabric sanitizers, to freshen up your clothes between washes, pre-treat extra stinky laundry, and make sure every last odor comes out in the wash. Clorox fabric sanitizers take care of all that and eliminate 99% of odor-causing bacteria. Plus, they're bleach-free and safe for all colors and fabrics. When it counts, trust Clorox.
Recently, Total Wireless helped Charlie Michelle stage a virtual dance recital for her friends and family.
This event was super meaningful to them.
Because when you move to Total Wireless, you can get amazing devices on nationwide 5G. And with unlimited plans starting at $25 a month, you could save up to $1,200 a year.
Thank you, Total Wireless, for helping me pull this off.
Total Wireless. Do amazing. Compatible 5G device required. 5G network in limited areas. Month equals 30 days. Savings claim made when compared to 4-line postpaid plans of leading carriers 10-20-20. See terms and conditions at totalwireless.com.
Great change for me, because Nyla Rose is very independent in the ring. She can do a promo. She wrestles very well. She's the native beast. And to be able to sit next to her and compliment us to, feed off each other has really been a lot of fun. And it's very different from like Cool in WWE, because they had their own kind of gimmick, where they were, flashy and rhinestones. And then I get to Nyla Rose and there's nothing flashy about her. I mean, she's just pure brute and destruction. And so it's been a lot of fun. But to be with the women in the ring is such an empowering feeling, because we're all standing as women and we're representing this great division. And if I can give just a little bit of my knowledge and talent and the fans love it, then I go home very happy, and I'm grateful for the place that I'm at for that night.
That's amazing. So I would love to know how involved you are behind the scenes at AEW and kind of helping maybe craft the women's division, kind of storylines and kind of like the matches that come up. How involved are you in crafting that?
Dustin Rhodes takes care of all the training for the women, as far as the wrestling. I'm not a wrestler. So if you want me to put together a match, I can put together the cheat spots where you want me to go in. But I'm very much forward in talking with the girls as far as their creativity, their characters, who they are, who do they want to be. Is your gimmick, independent? Is it going to be something that identifies you and not someone else? And that's something that's really important, because I think that they need to, especially the women that come from the indies and are extras at AEW. I kind of gravitate to those women because they're just starting out, and I love to share my knowledge and I love to share what I know. And if it helps them, gain that confidence to get into the ring, then that's something that I really look forward to every day at AEW.
Being a manager, if you can manage anybody in the world, any promotion,
Big question.
And of course, you're still managing Nyla. So no, not to say you're dropping Nyla, but if you can manage anybody else, who would that be?
Well, since you brought that up, my dream for AEW, because I focus on AEW because I'm there, but I would love to grow my stable, which I've been talking about for the last month. I would love to manage Ricky Starks. I think he's just an amazing superstar that's so funny and talented. I would love to manage Sammy Guevara and Wardlow. I get all these guys that I can do the cougar, gimmick with them and to have fun with them. And Wardlow is such a speechless character that he never smiles. He never has any fun. I think that the fans would love to see that change in him where he's kind of enticed. Even to do my cougar character with Tony Khan, I think that would be some great entertainment. So I love AEW and all the diversity they have there. And I would love to, manage some of the women there, like Diamante and Ivelisse, who are the tag team champions right now. So there's always scheming and planning that I'm thinking about when I'm watching the show. So yeah, there's a lot of plans ahead.
Oh, are there anything that you could hint that some scheming that might be happening down the line?
I'm working on Nyla Rose getting the NWA Championship and the women's AEW Women's World Championship. Yeah, and so there's a lot of scheming, and I can look forward to that because it's on my to-do list as of this morning.
Oh my goodness, your to-do list must be very long then.
It is. Yes, I'm exhausted right now.
Oh my gosh. So as far as like similarities and differences between AEW and WWE, what would you say they are?
The similarities is that we all love wrestling and that we're on this great industry that we love to entertain the fans. As far as, differences, WWE is very micromanaged, and I know that from experience. As far as AEW, I fell in love with AEW for the fact that when we do our promos or we have any creativity as far as, backstage or the BTE segments on YouTube, they give us full creative control, and there's never a no. I mean, if there's a no, it's because we can't say a curse word or we can't, go that direction in a certain, just to keep us aligned with what's, culturally accepted, with the world, and make sure that we're not, going outside those lines. But my first night at AEW, when Tony Khan told me I was going to do a promo to introduce myself, I'm like, well, what do you want? What do you want me to say? And he's like, well, you're Vickie Guerrero, right? So go have fun. And I just thought that was so liberating and so freeing for me that it was really true that we did have creative control. And when I go out there, I am just truly enjoying my character and I'm having the best time of my life.
I love it. You definitely look like it. I mean, those spots are everything. And now one last question. So you've played a cougar for quite a long time. Do you think that you kind of made cougars like acceptable? Because I feel like at one point everybody was talking, like that's a bad thing, but now it's just kind of like, hey, if men could do it, women could do it too. So do you think that you made it like acceptable for women to go and date younger guys?
Absolutely. I mean, if I didn't create it first, I mean, at least I'm contributing to the whole idea. That cougar aspect is so fun because I've noticed that the elderly women cannot stand me and I've only come to this one realization is that they can't stand me because they want to be me, because they want to have that younger guy that they can flirt with. So, you can't hate the messenger of what I'm doing. You can join me and have fun, but if you're going to hate me, then keep buying a ticket and come and see me because I'm going to keep pissing you off more.
There it is. So on that note, we're going to enter Rapid Hot Tags. So Rapid Hot Tags is brought to you by Goldust Nutrition, the world's first apple cider vinegar gummy bear. You can use the code TKTrinidad5 to get your discount today. So the first question, Vickie, is given the choice of anyone in the world, whom would you want to have as a dinner guest?
Richard Gere.
Oh,
I like that.
I like Vickie Gere.
If you could wake up tomorrow having gained one quality or ability, what would it be?
Be invisible.
What is the greatest accomplishment of your life?
My college degree.
What is your degree in?
I have a Bachelor of Science in Medical Administration.
Oh.
I got it during COVID. I finished it.
That's awesome.
Oh, wow.
So next question here. Your house containing everything you own catches fire. After saving your loved ones, pets, you have time to make one safe final dash to save one other item. What would it be?
My scrapbooks.
And last question, if you were able to live to the age of 90 and retain either the mind or body of a 30-year-old for the last 60 years of your life, which one would you choose?
The body.
Yes, team body.
Fine, I'll give it to you guys.
Yes, right. Me and Vickie Guerrero, everybody. Oh, okay, sorry.
My faction is getting smaller and smaller.
Emily, I feel like we had a streak where every guest said mind for like 4 in a row. So don't worry, your team is still big.
I think I just want to be able to walk and take care of myself and be independent. So, yeah, I can do that more than having a good mind. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
I like it.
I had to ask real quick, how was it going to school during quarantine?
Well, the funny thing is I left WWE to start my college degree. I went through the medical field, and then I graduated during COVID. So it was online because I would do that while I was traveling with WWE to go to, take it online and be able to travel and do the classes. So everything finished up during COVID. So it was actually great because I was already doing the classes. So not that I almost got back into the medical field during COVID because, everything closed down with the wrestling industry. Mm-hmm. So I'm very grateful for that because I have a plan B to fall back on if I can't do this anymore. So it was it's just the scheming of trying to set myself up, whenever as I was getting older.
There you have it. Now, coming as far as guests coming up on your podcast, who do we have coming up so people can look out for that?
Oh my gosh. Today I actually have Penelope Ford and Kip Sabian, which I love so much. Yay. And I'm working on Kenny Omega. So, and just so many others. I mean, AEW is it's like a big pool of like all this talent that I want to have on my show, but everyone's so sweet and wanting to be on my show. So it's been really good.
I look forward to it. Like I said, your podcast, the episodes I did listen to were amazing. It's just a different take. It's just conversation. It's almost like, I don't know if you watched Oprah with Meghan Markle and all that stuff. Yes. It's almost like you're having conversations that we're not supposed to be, listening to.
That's a controversial interview. Yeah, that was a big one.
Did you watch it?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I feel for her. I think it's great that she has the courage to have her husband and her be able to stand side by side and, kind of be able to have the courage to speak out. I think that takes a lot, especially in today's society, to speak your truth. And I admire her about that.
Yeah, it was crazy because it came on the tail end of Revolution. So I was actually live tweeting both of them at the same time.
I was watching both go across my feed.
Yeah, I think we have dual screens the whole time.
Yeah, it was a lot going on. There's a lot going on. However, thank you so much for joining us. For folks who are not following you, even though you guys should, because you are absolutely amazing, where can they follow you?
Gosh, I'm on Instagram at Guerrero_Vickie, on Twitter at Vickie Guerrero. I have a website, which is VickieGuerrero.net. And you can see me on Twitch at VG. So, and also on AEW, I'm on Wednesday nights, on TNT, and then on AEW Dark, and on YouTube on BTE. Me and Nyla Rose are the Vicious Vixens, which it's getting good. So please check that out because we're having a lot of fun on there.
Yes. Thank you so much. Again, those pictures that you have, your website picture and the picture you and Nyla have, it's a whole hotness going on. So kudos to that. So much success to the takeover and the rest of the wrestling career and your stable and the faction and managing Tony Khan. I see it all happening for you. Definitely look forward to seeing it. And have a wonderful day.
Thank you, ladies. I wish y'all much success and thank you for having me on.
Thank
you.
All right. Bye, ladies.
Bye.
Oh my gosh, she is absolutely amazing.
What a good day.
Just my day has been made. My day it's made. There you go. I'm done. Signing off.
I mean, she's awesome. Oh gosh. So I had one question. So for you guys, what we do is we have a whole rundown. And I had questions as far as who's your favorite wrestling couple, but I kind of almost want to switch it up on you guys. Like, who is your favorite manager?
I have so many favorite managers. So when I first went through wrestling school, I actually got an injury and I had to get back out of wrestling school. And so I knew I still loved wrestling. I wanted to participate. So I switched over. Santino Bros had a manager track. And so I actually graduated through Santino's through their manager track, and we learned about all the different managers, from the real old school ones like the Lou Albano type, who are like a coach almost, all the way up. And the one who stood out to me the most is like, this is who I want to emulate, was Sherry Martel. You can go back and watch. There's a WrestleMania match. I think it's Ultimate Warrior and Macho Man. And Sherry is getting involved like every few minutes, to a degree that because we don't have a lot of managers nowadays, we forget. Like in some matches, she's clotheslining wrestlers on the outside. She's, she was just so good at like getting in there for her guy that she's been my inspiration. I love it. And, Vickie Guerrero, like I said, I love a mean girl. I love to cheat. When I manage the Psycho Sisters, that's me all day. I'm like, where's some hair? If you even let a little piece of hair outside the ring, I'm pulling that Jake. So anyway, those were my inspirations and the people I like to look up to.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. So mine is related to the previous question we were going to talk about. But so you guys know, I started as a manager for my boyfriend, now husband at the time, but he was like, Miss Elizabeth was the person that I looked up to, was like, this is because we were a real life couple ourselves. Mm-hmm. And it was just one of those people that I felt really connected to, on a really deep level, on a creative level, on just being a woman in the industry. And so Miss Elizabeth was the person that I looked up to the most, still do.
Which is funny because, they fought Sherry Martel and the Miss Elizabeth over here. And it fits our personalities a lot.
Uh-oh. Oh, boy. Well, then, for me, I honestly, and it probably might sound really cliche, but I love a good talker. And Paul Heyman is one of those things like, yes, I love the fact that, as a manager, you can step in the ring and, make something happen. But somebody who, literally can tell a story mm-hmm. on behalf of somebody and then make you have goosebumps and make you you enter that world because you're watching television. You're watching television. Paul Heyman has that that mystique where he almost transports you into the whole scenario and you buy into it.
Anytime you need to study promos or study storytelling on the mic, Paul Heyman is the guy to do it. He's one of those people that you go back and you watch that stuff because that is that's legendary. That's history right there. And like you said, it transports you. There's storytelling. The arc of what he does on the mic is so incredible and so fluid. Yeah, you're right. I liked your example.
Yeah. And he makes it relevant because you almost forget, I don't know how old he is, but I know he's older. And you almost forget that he's older because he talks about relevant things. And then he's not the same manager. He really, for somebody who's now studying it and watching it with a more studying eye versus just entertainment, just the difference between Brock and Roman Reigns and how he switched it up. Somebody put it on Twitter, I want my husband to look at me like how Paul Heyman looks at Roman Reigns. It's so crazy. Just the little nuances.
He's able to adapt. He's able to adapt to each person. So he's 55. That's. I looked it up real quick.
Okay.
So
he looks older, but
well, you know why. That candle thing. Funny enough, for anyone who's not in the wrestling world, there is actually an art to cutting a promo. And if you go to a good wrestling school, they teach you that art. And, people, so she mentioned Dusty Rhodes. His father was another amazing promo cutter. Ric Flair cut some of the best promos in the business. What Paul Heyman does that they did first, too, is the idea of if your opponent is garbage, then who cares if you wrestle them? And so if you next time you listen to one of his promos, pay attention to what he actually says about the opponent, because it's not necessarily what you think cutting a promo is all about, which is boo, this guy sucks, my guy is awesome. That's actually not what a good promo is about.
Yeah.
He kind of changed the game for promos, for managers. He kind of upped the game even more.
He upped the game. and wrestling in general, and I've been kind of saying this quietly, and I'll probably start saying it more and more often, wrestling in general has seeped into every aspect of the world. Politicians are cutting promos. Like actors and actresses and sports people who are making it and who are getting signed as far as with sponsor deals and all this other stuff. Notice the ones who are cutting promos versus the ones who just decide not to do anything. The ones who are cutting promos, a la Shaq, he is sponsored by a billion companies. Mm-hmm. Like wrestling has seeped into every aspect of life, and the person who, wants to, I don't know, make it, they be doing themselves a service by studying wrestling.
Yeah. Well, there's like a lot of brand crossovers and a lot of like brand ambassadors. They're going to come forward. We've seen it in WWE. We've obviously seen it in AEW. And that's just going to get more and more prevalent, where you're going to have these one-off kind of like celebrity showings that like they do a big promo, or they do, some crossover brand promotions.
Shaq is always cutting promos. That's the joke.
My favorite one he ever did was he tried to cut a promo on something spicy. Do you guys see that one? Where he was like, oh, no, this pepper, and then he ate it, and he goes, ah.
Like,
it's one of my favorite
so like you relate to them, right? Like, I feel like it makes them be more relatable, that you're like, oh, okay, cool. Like, I know shit. Yeah.
We're cool.
Now we're going to get into somebody else that we should know with Star of the Week, Miss Sarah.
Women's Wrestling Star of the Week.
Star of the Week is brought to you by Label My Keys. Use code WWTalk for 50% off all orders. Today's Star of the Week is Maki Ito. Debuting in 2013, Ito was originally an idol who made sporadic appearances at Japan's DDT Pro before eventually joining Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling, where she is a one-time international princess champion. She's known for her hilariously inappropriate English statements and entertaining energy, which she brought with her to the United States in her debut here in 2019. She's held the Ironman Heavy Metalweight Championship 6 times and was one of the Japanese entrants in the AEW Women's Championship Tournament, unfortunately losing her first round match, though she did return at AEW Revolution. We hope AEW officially signs her. Want to learn more about a star of the indie wrestling scene? Shoot us your suggestions for future Stars of the Week. And don't forget to check out labelmykeys.com and enter the code WWTalk for 50% off your order.
Thank you so much. And before we get out of here, where can everybody find you, Miss Sarah?
You can find me everywhere at Sarah the Rebel. Sarah's an H as God of the Bible intended. You should buy one of my shirts on storefrontier.com/Sarah the Rebel, or you can support me over on patreon.com/Sarah the Rebel.
You actually did the exact same thing that Biggie, if you guys didn't watch it, the interviews on IG, because I've had people hit me up, ask me for the interviews on IG. You did the exact same thing that Biggie did when he was promoting his new series for the Kickstarter thing. He showed his chest. So,
what a beautiful thing. What a beautiful footstep to walk in. The footsteps of Biggie's titties.
And Miss Emily, where can everybody find you?
I can't really follow that up.
When you saw only one set of titties, it was because Biggie carried you, Emily.
Okay, thank you. I'm glad, right? So you can follow me on all social media platforms at Emily May Heller. And we have a new episode of Pro Wrestling Pets every Monday. Just, you got to enjoy the content, right? Animal content. You love it, right? Watch your cat videos, watch your dog videos, watch Pro Wrestling Pets.
There you have it. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Don't forget to check out our website, www.talkpod.com. We have a ranking system up there that you can definitely join in. All our latest and greatest things that are happening with us and the show, you can check it out on the website. Follow us on all social media platforms, www.talkpod. And then also, my name is TK Trinidad. You can follow me on everything at TK Trinidad. Till next time, guys, we really, really appreciate you. And if you appreciate us, you'd also, do Cash App, PayPal, coffee,
donate.
All that good stuff. It really helps. Trust me, there's a lot of stuff going on in the background that you don't see that we want to give you and bless you with. But other than that, till next time, guys. Ciao.
Bye.
Bye.
The Falcon and the Winter Soldier has arrived on Disney+.
The world is upside down. We can't lose this fight, Bucky. If we do this, we're gonna do it our own way.
Experience the 6-episode event.
Work partners, co-workers. Not necessarily the team. No. We look damn good.
Marvel Studios' The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Now streaming only on Disney+.